Let's now shift our attention over to the United States in what proves to be a critical juncture in the George Floyd case. The murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, accused of killing George Floyd, is all set to begin shortly. The family was seen speaking before the historic trial. With more details now awaited, this is indeed a very, very crucial trial that is going to be underway. As we all know, Derek Chauvin, the police officer who had placed his neck on George Floyd and subdued him to the ground, is finally going to be on trial in just some time from now. And shortly before the trial began, it was George Floyd's family addressing the press. Let's listen into what they have to say.
This must be intended. Courthouse. Yes, sir. So just like we came last year to be with this family, we told them we'd be here to the end, and we will be in and out until the end. We wanted to end for justice, but make no mistake about it. Chauvin is in the courtroom, but America's on trial. Right. America's on trial to see if we have gotten to the place where we can hold police accountable if they break the law. The law is for everybody. Policemen are not above the law. Policemen are subject to the law. And that's what's going on in this courtroom. And that's why we're here. The other thing that we are dealing with is that there is a law that has already passed the House of Representatives called the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. It is now headed into the Senate. We are asking the Senate to pass that law so that the federal law can be there to prevent George Floyd from happening again. We stand with this family in the shadows of this courthouse to say there's a jury in here and there's a jury in the U.S. Senate. And the U.S. Senate needs to make federal law in the name of George Floyd that would deal with all of this, that would supersede these state laws that give escape routes to policemen. I was in the room in Houston, Texas, where then candidate Joe Biden met with this family and promised that if he became president, he would fight for justice. He has supported this bill. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, Majority Leader Schumer.
What you were hearing were comments by George Floyd's family shortly before the trial begins. Opening statements are all set to begin in just a few minutes from now.
It was before.
All right.
Yes, sir. And you didn't give us justice.
Tell it, brother.
It was a video with Rodney King.
Yeah, it was.
And they went to straight court and let those police become acquitted. There's a video with Eric Garner. Never got to court. You have the opportunity to make it right this time and make it right for the country. You will never be able to bring this family's brother back. You will never fill that hole. But you can, in his name, stop this from continuing to happen over and over again. And let me say to all of those that have marched down through the last several months, many with us, many on their own, white, black, old, young, doesn't matter. The intergenerational, interracial communities that have marched is the reason we're in this courtroom. It was the reason that there is even a shot at justice. And we thank them for marching. Are we at 8:46? 30 seconds. So we've got 30 seconds. Let us prepare to take a knee. And we're taking a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And we want you to think of during that time why Chauvin didn't in that time get his knee up.
Down front. Down front. Oh.
Get it down.
Down in the front.
Photo down.
Down in the front.
Hey, down. Hey, get down. Relax, man. Down.
Still photographer.
Your buddy's in the trap, right? I'm down.
Yeah.
Still down.
Down, guys.
One, two shots and move on. In the trap, right? Come on.
What you heard was George Floyd's family giving their statements before the opening statements begin in the court. In a first for Minnesota, the trial will be broadcast live in its entirety, which is going to happen in just a short while from now. And for the first time in Minnesota, the public will be given a rare peek into the most important case of the Black Lives Matter era. Remember, it was after the death of George Floyd that prompted the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States last year. And in just a short while from now, the former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who had pinned George Floyd down to the floor as he shouted, "I can't breathe." The police officer will now be put on trial from today. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter charges. Citing disturbing video of Floyd's final moments, the prosecutors have said that Chauvin unintentionally killed Floyd while using excessive force during his arrest on May 25th back in 2020. And today, the opening statements are all set to begin in former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's trial. As we informed you earlier, the trial will be broadcast live in its entirety for the first time in Minnesota, giving the public a rare peek into the most important case of the Black Lives Matter era.
Hey, down in front. Down in front. I'm gonna walk in front.
That's right. That's why I love you all, man. You can't come and stand in front of that shop. Get out of there.
As we all know, this is going to be a critical juncture in the George Floyd case as the former Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin goes on trial today. The murder trial of the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd is all set to begin shortly. And just before the trial, we heard what George Floyd's family had to say. In a rare and a first for Minnesota, the trial will be broadcast live in its entirety. Chauvin, who's 45 years of age, has pleaded not guilty to second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter charges. It's important to note that Floyd's death led to a societal reckoning with America's past and present of anti-black racism and aggressive policing. And even as we speak, we are aware of the anti-racist protests that are still continuing, even when it comes to Asian Americans who are now standing up for the hate that they are encountering.
Hold down, please. Hold down. 4 minutes.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.